Hey everyone, Doug here. Today I'm going to talk about action cams. It seems like action cams get used a fair amount in certain types of video settings, video production settings. So concerts, maybe you have a camera that you stick on and stick near the drum so you can get a shot of the drummer, or looking down the neck of a guitar, or maybe shooting down the keyboard of a piano or a synthesizer or whatever. They're nice and small. You can stick them pretty much anywhere, but there is a bit of a challenge using those in a live production environment, particularly with the GoPros that seems like a lot of people use. I personally have gone with the Sony action cams when I've needed to put a camera in one of those situations. And there's been a few reasons why. First of all, the GoPros are a little bit picky about the image formats that they output on HDMI. And if you read some of the forums online, a lot of people complain about how difficult it is to get a GoPro to interface with a video switcher. It seems that the internal video format that the GoPros want to choose doesn't necessarily work with the common switchers that are out there. There's some resolution / frame rate issues that don't often work well together. And the most common solution is to run through a converter. Well, that's an extra piece of gear that you have to get power to, another piece of gear that could possibly fail on you or get stepped on, whatever. And there's a lot of inconvenience that comes with doing that. So after reading online about all the issues with GoPro, I did some research into other alternatives, and I kind of landed on using the Sony action cams. So these Sony ones don't have a lot of those issues. I'm able to take just the HDMI output of these cameras and run it directly into either the input of a switcher, if it happens to be nearby, or run it just a HDMI to SDI converter, and it works every time. So I haven't had to deal with any of those weird frame rate issues or anything like that. So these have worked really, really well. And the other issue is, like, when you read the reviews online, it seems that the GoPros produce an image with less detail, and it's not as pleasing as the Sony action cams do. And so for that reason, I personally have gone with the Sony. And so there's no reason you can't make a GoPro work, although there are some obstacles there. So in terms of what I got here, I've got two different models that I'm using. So this first one is the FDR-X3000. Unfortunately, it only comes in white, so if you need to really hide it, you may have to cover it with something else like a gaff tape or whatever in order to make it not stick out. But the camera actually is 4K. It does 4K up to 30 frames per second. For 1080p, it does it up to 120 frames a second. Although in a live environment we wouldn't use that. But it produces a very nice quality image. In fact, I'll actually just switch over to that so you guys can get a view of what I see when I'm shooting these videos. And turn this around. This is a bit of a challenging lighting situation compared to typical situation where this camera might be used. So we're going to be a little bit blown out in this. This is a very high contrast situation, so image quality here might not be representative of what you'd see in the real world, but the image quality on the camera is actually quite good. I do believe that it is significantly better than the GoPros, and it's also priced about the same. So this camera can be usually picked up for about $350. I've been very happy with it. One of the big advantages this has over some of the other ones, this one has the what Sony calls the Balance Optical Steady Shot, and I'll switch over to it. I can move the camera around quite a lot, and it compensates for that motion very, very well. So I'm actually shaking the camera pretty vigorously, and the image just isn't moving around. It instead of just moving the lenses, it actually moves the entire camera mechanism inside there to compensate for any motion of the camera, and it works quite well. So a couple other advantages that this has over some of the alternatives that are out there. So it has on the back, it has it's micro HDMI for output, but then it also has micro B for USB for power. So you can power this thing off of a battery pack really, really easily. If you guys have been watching this channel for a long time, if you know that when I was building my trailer, I did time-lapse videos of the construction of the trailer. I've yet to publish those. Those are still coming. But I shot all those time-lapse videos on this camera using a USB battery pack. And with that combination, I was able to run the camera for days. Not hours, but days. and just had the little battery pack plugged in with the USB to the camera, and it worked great. Another thing I really like about these compared to some of the alternatives, it does have the 1/4-20 screw built right in, so you don't have to use any kind of case on the camera in order to mount it. You just plug into that 1/4-20 there on the bottom. So I've been very, very happy with that. Now, the other one I've got here, this is an older model. You can't really get a hold of it anymore, but it's just in the interest of showing you guys what I've got. This is the Sony HDR-AS20. This is a 1080p camera. I've had this thing maybe not quite 10 years, but quite a while. It does produce a very nice image. It doesn't have the balanced optical steady shot on it, but it does have some stabilization. And the main disadvantage to this one is it doesn't have a 1/4-20 on the bottom, and the video connections are on the bottom. So there's your multi-USB, and there's your HDMI out. And so if you're going to use this camera, you have to like either tape it in place or find some other way to mount it. But again, you can power it off the USB. So anyway, I've been very, very happy with both of these cameras. They both produce quite good image quality, and I think they're much easier to use than the GoPros and some of the other alternatives that are out there. So anyway, if you guys have any questions about these, you can ask those in the comment section down below. I've got links to these products, or at least this white camera here, the 3000 model from Sony, in the description. If you do buy one, appreciate you using that link. That does send a few dollars my way as a thank you for producing the video. If you guys are new to the channel and haven't subscribed yet, please consider doing so. Also, I do have a Patreon channel to sort of offset the amount of time that is lost producing these videos. Each video takes nearly a day to produce from start to finish, and that means I'm not doing other things that I could be doing to help support myself. So any sort of contributions to make there are very much appreciated as well. If you have not yet taken a look at my website for managing a video production company, crewaccess.com, please use the link in the description down below. I have plans ranging from free all the way up to enterprise. It manages every aspect of your video production business, from event planning to hiring the crew to managing your contacts and your equipment, and quite a bit more. And it's getting better all the time. So anyway, thanks guys for watching, and have a fantastic day.